Microphones and headphones provided by Audio-Technica. To learn more, head over to audiotechnica.com. The views expressed on this episode of My Take Radio do not reflect the views, thoughts, or feelings of the My Take Radio staff, My Take Radio advertisers, or My Take Radio content partners. Listener and viewer discretion is advised.
This coverage is live and uncensored, so if you have any small children present, you may want to have them leave the room.
Hey, what's up, guys? My Take Radio, episode 269 for Wednesday, January 28th, 2015. I'm your host, Rich, and our call-in number is 347-324-3541. Again, that call-in number is 347-324-3541. If this is your first time tuning into My Take Radio is a variety show covering mixed martial arts, professional wrestling, gaming, and entertainment. As always, My Take Radio has strong language, so listener and viewer discretion is advised. All right, we are broadcasting live from the frozen tundra that is New York City with the quote-unquote blizzard of 2015 behind us. A couple of things got to get out of the way first before we get into this week's show. First and foremost, as many of you know, we were supposed to get quote-unquote feet upon feet upon feet of snow. That was not the case. We got a fair amount here in New York City, but not enough to definitely drive people crazy. I will say, according to the measurements in my yard, we got about almost a foot, give or take. A lot of shoveling. As a result of that shoveling, I definitely have some severe sinus issues for some reason. So if you do see me occasionally have to mute the mic, it is because I'm going to sneeze off screen and don't want to leave you guys deaf, so bear with me as I try to power through these sinus issues and give you guys the best show possible. Anyway, besides that, we got some housekeeping I got to get out of the way. First and foremost, MyTakeRadio.com will be merging with RageWorks officially this weekend. As of February 1st, any visit to MyTakeRadio.com will take you to RageWorks.net. Again, this is just a matter of consolidation, not doing away with the My Take Radio brand, just consolidating it into RageWorks, since RageWorks is the parent company for My Take Radio and all our other endeavors. In addition to that, MTRLive.com will forward to a RageWorks live page, so you will be able to continue listening to live shows as always every Wednesday and Thursday evening at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, so you guys can enjoy those shows. In addition, we are expanding our stable of shows, and we have My Take Radio, MTR Behind the Mic, MTR Beyond the Mic, The Buried Show, which just finished uploading its season finale, the 2014 Buried Awards. I recommend you guys check that out. In addition to that, I just finished recording our brand new Minority Film Report, which we are bringing back for 2015 in a big way. Be on the lookout for that, as that will cover a film we recently reviewed on RageWorks.net, that being Black Sea, starring Jude Law. We watched that. We went to see that film alongside our colleagues at Royal Flush Magazine, and they were kind enough to capture some audio from the press junket, and I used that in addition to a review of, my review of the film to create the brand new Minority Film Report, which we're going to be doing going forward. It's going to be a departure from what we used to do, which was where myself and Slick, or myself and one of the other MTR team members, would watch a film, Mystery Science Theater 3000 style, and talk a little shit. And, it worked and it was good, but I figured in 2015, we really want to start stepping outside and trying to do not more serious stuff, because that's not what we do here. Definitely not more serious stuff, but definitely more stuff that's in tune with what you guys are looking for. I definitely want to try and give you guys the best content possible, and bringing back the Minority Film Report is just one of the many things we're working on. We're also working on some stuff with VGN, and VGN's episodes will be on Rageworks very soon. Still finalizing and working the bugs out with regards to that, but like I said, mytakeradio.com will officially be rolled into rageworks.net this weekend. Anything and everything you need will be available on rageworks.net. Our social media footprints will remain. My Take Radio will be on Twitter, still be on Facebook, Google+, and all the usual outlets, but Rageworks will take a bigger focus. As many of you know, Rageworks has its own fan page, its own Twitter. I'm Rageworks_Rich on Instagram. Our very own Slick is RW_Slick on Instagram, and RW_Slick on Twitter. So make sure you keep an eye out for that, because Slick is going to be doing a lot more stuff with Twitter, especially since he is working on his Dying Light review, and I'm sure that's going to get a lot of circulation, and you guys are definitely going to want to hear what he has to say about that game as well. Last but not least, the Rageworks team, alongside our colleagues at Royal Flush Magazine, will be covering the 2015 Toy Fair in February. Make sure to keep an eye out for all our social media platforms for that. We're definitely looking forward to having a great time. Myself, Slick, my wife, Andrea, Danny from Royal Flush, and some of her colleagues are going to be working the show floor. We're going to have a special hashtag we're going to be using to cover all the day's events. We're going to have so much stuff, and we're planning so many cool things, and of course, tons of great pictures, awesome toys, tons of collectibles. If you're a fan of that stuff, if you have a closet full of, Marvel Legends action figures, or you're getting into some of the more detailed stuff that, collectors are searching for nowadays, definitely keep it locked here. We're going to give you some of the most kick-ass coverage possible, and I hope you guys enjoy it. That's going to be February 14th, 15th, and maybe the 16th, depending on how we schedule everything out, but definitely keep an eye on all our social media platforms for that. All right, so what's on deck for tonight? We're going to be talking about this past weekend's UFC on Fox event. Our very own Ben will be joining us to break that down, along with the week's MMA news. We are going to talk a little bit about Anderson Silva and Nick Diaz's fight, which is this weekend. Definitely a fight that most people will not want to miss. This is one of those fights where it can go either way, and it has all the makings of being a fight that many of us will never, ever, ever forget. I kind of feel that this is our super fight, regardless of whether there's title implications or not. This is a fight that many fans have wanted to see, and we are getting those needs fulfilled by the UFC, giving us this fight. We'll see how it pans out. Of course, as I've said before, a lot of people writing off Anderson Silva, which they should not do. And of course, a lot of people investing a lot of energy into Nick Diaz as well. Some of it good, some of it bad, but at the end of the day, two guys go in the cage, one guy walks out the winner, and that's all we have to look forward to this weekend. Of course, we are going to get into the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and there's a lot of stuff I want to discuss. A lot of arguments across social media with regards to the main event, the Rumble itself, the triple threat match. I want to dig into that a little bit. Of course, as long as my sinuses hold up, we should be all good for that. And, of course, we're going to talk about Raw and the presentation that WWE delivered due to the inclement weather. That and so much more. As always, we are always ready to take your calls, 347-324-3541, if you want to contribute and participate. Otherwise, feel free to hop in on the chat, mtrlive.com, gfqlive.tv, and we will definitely read your commentary on air. Also, I know that we have our Royal Rumble winner, Mortis. If you can, please do me a favor and just put the winner in the chat so I can read their name out loud during the wrestling segment, because I did not get a chance to write it in the show notes or just pass it on to Slick, and Slick can queue it up and we can get that handled as well. Definitely props to Lucha Lee for his work on the Royal Rumble contest and all his work and promotion leading up to that contest. Definitely pat yourself on the back. Looking forward to shouting out the winner on air. Thanks a lot for that. And let's get to it. Let's get this ball rolling. I hear Ben is on the line. And yeah, that's it. Let's rock this. Time to talk some MMA. Let's get that ball rolling. As always, My Take Radio's MMA segment is brought to you by MMA-Warehouse.com. Get all your favorite fighter gear, collectibles, and so much more. Training gear as well at MMA-Warehouse.com. Look for the banners on RageWorks.net for promo codes, discounts, and a ton of other perks. Of course, purchases done with those banners help us out and allow us to continue improving the show for you guys. All right, so I've been informed that Ben is on hold. Let me bring him in. Big Ben, master of Black is the New Black. What's going on?
What's up, man?
You tell me. We got a lot of crazy shit going on. We got Anthony Rumble Johnson detonating his fist on the side of people's heads. We got Anderson Silva getting ready to rock and roll. Nick Diaz no-showing press conferences. It is a madhouse out there. Shit is real in the field.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week.
Absolutely. Let's dig into this UFC on Fox card. A lot of good fights. I actually feel that this fight card was severely underrated, given the amount of given the fights that were on this card, which is unfortunate because I really enjoyed a lot of the fights that we saw.
Yeah, I feel like it got kind of wrapped up in that time is now kind of thing.
Right.
They've had so many really big fights early in the year that one of them was somebody was going to lose out, and it happened to be this card. But yeah, I mean this is the main card wasn't as good as the undercard, but I mean there were some good fights on here.
What fight jumped out to you as one of the favorites, aside obviously from the main event and the co-main?
The Sam Cecilia Kira Coruscant fight.
I'm glad you brought that up. Glad you brought that up.
It was crazy. Yeah, the Mark, and I'm probably going to butcher this guy's name. Marquand, was it Calvonian or something like that?
Right.
Marquand
Amirkhani and Andy Ogle.
Yeah, that knockout was crazy, especially for it only be 8 seconds.
Yep.
There was a couple fights on here were clearly mismatches, but that's what happens when you have, fights in another country. A lot of times you get kind of mismatches. But yeah, there were some really good fights. The Andy Ogle fight, a couple of the other undercard fights with good prospects, but it was a good card.
That flying knee knockout on Andy Ogle, I felt bad for him because he was part of this guy's highlight reel, but it was a beautiful flying knee.
It was. It sucks the angle they were shooting that at.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, I know what they were trying to do, and I don't blame the UFC for this, because you don't expect someone to hit a flying knee 8 seconds into a fight like that.
Absolutely not.
But it sucked that angle was so far away, and like wrote F.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, good for him. It was weird hearing Joe Rogan kind of be like, well, the stoppage was bullshit. Like, what? Who cares about that right now? Like, just give some props, but but yeah, like that KO was nasty.
I like the Sultan Aliyev fight against Kenny Robertson. That was a nasty fight too. Robertson with a vicious left hook, and Aliyev at that point just went limp, and it was an academic at that point. Definitely a nasty finish.
Yeah, Kenny Robinson, for looking like someone's shop teacher, he's a really good fighter. And in fact, I think he actually is a wood shop teacher. Like, I think that's actually what he does. But yeah, I mean, he put on a good show. I mean, that was a nasty knockout. I was not expecting that from Kenny Robinson.
Akira Kurosani's knockout was nasty too because he just stiffened up like a board and that was it. I was like, wow, that's a nasty finish.
Yeah, and it should be the last time he fights. I mean, this is, I think, the third or fourth fight in a row he's been knocked out.
Yeah, there were rumors he might retire.
And even the fight that he quote unquote won against Maximo Blanco is mostly because Maximo Blanco doesn't give a fuck about MMA rules. It need him in the head, so like he still got knocked out. So yeah, like he looked. Sam Cecilia looked good. That's exactly what you expect Sam Cecilia to do to somebody. And except for Akira Kurosani getting knocked out.
Well, I kind of felt let down by the Ryan Bader-Phil Davis fight. That fight was very underwhelming, and that's not to take anything away from the fighters, but I think they realized that each other's wrestling ability was going to pretty much cancel each other out. So they figured we're just going to stand and hope for the best. But it kind of felt like Bader got the better of the exchanges. I almost feel like Bader's stand-up was better, but I also felt that Davis left himself open to get tagged a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that is what the two of them are, like, at this point. And I mean, you saw, like, when they because they're wrestling canceling each other out and they weren't able to get each other down, and if they were, they weren't able to control the other, it turned into kind of a sloppy kickboxing match with Bader doing the most damage there. Phil Davis has not developed any sort of scary a striking game that you worry about.
Right.
And Ryan Bader can actually knock you out. He looked better. It was a close fight. I gave Phil Davis the second round, but that was it.
Right.
It was a close fight, but this is what they are now in the division. They're gatekeepers.
Right. But here's the thing. Did you feel that, and this is what I kind of took away from it, even though, Bader's striking was better, I did feel that Phil Davis, I don't want to say he phoned it in because that's never the case, but I just feel that he was getting caught by stuff that a guy of his pedigree, a guy of his standing in the division shouldn't be getting tagged like that on the regular. Not by a guy whose boxing is, not to say that his boxing is rudimentary, that his stand-up is rudimentary, but definitely by a guy whose stand-up is still developing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and it really shouldn't be developing this way in his career, but I mean, Phil Davis kind of, I guess is what he is at this point. Like he at this point, if he can't get you down, he's not going to do anything to you.
Right.
Like, I mean, let's just go back and watch the Anthony Johnson fight. Anthony Johnson made him look like a punk. Like he straight punked Phil Davis. Once Phil Davis could not get him down and got hit a couple times, Phil Davis was basically running the rest of the fight. And there's nothing about his game that scares you, unless he can get you down and control you. And most high-level light heavyweights, he's not going to do that against. That's why I found it really kind of amusing when he was like, before this fight, which was really misplaced, when he was saying, like, I could take John Jones down. Like, no, you can't. Why would you even think that? Like, you can't take Anthony Johnson down. Like, but, I mean, he is what he is. He's a gatekeeper. And I really don't know what they do with him at this point.
Where do you feel Bader goes from here? Because I mean, is he 2 fights away from contention, 3 fights away from contention, or is he legitimately solidifying himself as that, as the gatekeeper? Because it's weird because Bader's been a guy that came out of the Ultimate Fighter. He's had some highs, he's had some lows, but he's never jumped in front as somebody that the fans are really just actively talking about. And that's not no disrespect to him. That's just the way, the nature of the beast,
Yeah, and with him, it would be really hard to, let's say he wins 2 more fights, it'd be really hard to sell a him and John Jones fight when John Jones, before he was champion, beat the hell out of Bader. So Bader's a gatekeeper. Like, I think you give him, maybe a Rashad Evans fight or something like that. Like, you put him in, you give him a top 5 fight, and he's probably going to lose it. So you knock him down again. Like, I don't think he'll ever win enough to get to a title shot. And even if he got close, I don't see how you sell that fight. Like, what can you say to make people believe that he can actually challenge John Jones after the first time they fought?
This is true. I mean, that makes That makes valid, it's a valid point. I just feel that division is so funky right now. Like, I looked at the standings for that division, and I'm like, even the rankings just don't feel natural. You know how sometimes you look at the rankings and you look at the top 5 guys. Well, correction, you look at 6 through 10 in the rankings, and you're just like, really, that guy's number 6? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I look at it, and it's like, Jones, Gustafson, Johnson, Rashad falls in there depending on who you know what I mean? Like it's a real funky layout of that division.
Well, one of the issues with that is John Jones beating most of these guys. And that kind of puts you in a position where, unless you have an up-and-comer, it's just a bunch of guys that John Jones has already beat. There's nobody in 1 through, because I'm looking at the rankings now, 6 through 15 that you don't think John Jones destroys. And
right.
But you see the other divisions in lightweight, you can't really see those guys beating Anthony Pettis, but you can see a competitive fight. Welterweight is the one division where,
everybody's a killer.
Maybe run for the title.
Right.
Middleweight is looking like that too. But with light heavyweight and heavyweight, there's a bunch of guys. Like, there's no new up and comers. Like, I'm pretty sure like the average age of the light heavyweight rankings is like 32.
Right, but
there's just a lot of dudes on here that are older and on their way out.
Well, but looking past just the enigma of John Jones, and let's pull that out for a second. Let's just look at these rankings as if John Jones wasn't champion, just an open division, and let's pull him out for a second. Looking at that division from 2 down, do you feel that those rankings, according to the UFC, are justified?
Yeah. Because I'm looking at Anthony Johnson clearly would be the number 1 because he just beat Gustafson.
Right.
Rashad Evans at 4, I can see why someone have an issue with that. But then you look at the rest of these guys and, like, who are you going to put over him?
Right, and that's a question too in terms of ability, because it's like Rashad Evans I feel like I haven't seen Rashad Evans fight in like 5 years,
Yeah, he hasn't fought in a while. Like, when was the last time Rashad Evans fought? Like,
that's what I'm saying, because he's ranked number 4
in a while.
And that's what I mean. Like, you look at that number.
He fought 2 years ago.
That's what I mean.
Chael Sonnen 2 years ago.
But think about that. He fought Chael roughly 2 years ago. 2 years, and the guy's still holding you know what I mean? Like, that's why, like, the rankings in the UFC are always a little sketchy to me, because think about it. The guy fought, 2 years ago, give or take, hasn't fought since. How are you still number 4? How is that possible? And sure, going back to what you said about, the escalation in competition, about it being just a bunch of guys in the division, but aside from that, the dude hasn't fought in 2 years, and he's number 4 still. Yeah,
mostly you can't justify anyone being over him. Like, you literally,
I know
there's nobody. You look at those rankings, like, yeah, he should be over Rashad Evans,
and that's what I mean.
And that's the problem. That is the issue. Like, the UFC, and it's not their fault per se. Like, I can't really blame the UFC for this. It's just light heavyweight isn't a division right now where there's been anybody who stood out as far as a prospect. It's just, right now, it's just kind of stagnant.
But that's a huge problem, because think about it. The quote unquote heavier divisions are supposed to be your payday divisions, and that's not the case in the UFC's landscape. It's the divisions under 205 that are yielding the most prospects, the most exciting fights, the most not level playing field, but a playing field that you can look at and be like, damn, any dude that's trying to make a run for this title's got to fight, 5 hitters at least, Yeah,
lightweight is a minefield. Flyweight even it's still developing, but you got to do a good bit to get in the discussion for that too. Welterweight is crazy, and so is middleweight. It's not their fault. It's just right now it just seems like there's no one really that's standing out outside of John Jones and Anthony Johnson. Like the top four guys, John Jones, Anthony Johnson, Alexander Gustafsson, and Cormier. They're so
Right.
much better than everybody else. It's not even close.
Right, but then you look at a company like Bellator, and it's funny because I almost feel like 205 across multiple companies just feels like there's a vacuum there. I don't know if it's because just fighters are becoming more conscious of their bodies, or it's just not opening up. But I've noticed that every light heavyweight division is kind of not suspect, but just regular. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it just seems like there's no one at 205 right now. Like it just seems like either dudes are going to be heavyweights, and even with heavyweight, I mean, there's very few really great heavyweights
Yep.
either. But either dudes are going to be a heavyweight or going to cut down to 185. It just doesn't seem like there's any really great light heavyweights coming up, and it's unfortunate.
It really is scary. And then the guys that are coming up aren't there yet, or just haven't evolved their skill set to a point where they can make that run effectively. And it's just really weird. And then you kind of look at 185 pounds and you're like, all right, maybe some of these guys can make the move up. But that division is so deep and so competitive. I mean, the reason why I bring it up is, Dan Henderson was fighting at 185 against Mousasi in that fight. And yeah, Mousasi won that fight, and you can kind of call that fight not sketchy, but I'm like, Hendo got caught, but I don't think he got caught in a way that was damaging, so he could probably still make a dent in 185. But when you look at 185, you're like, yo, there's a lot of killers there. And even if they made the jump to 205, I think even the 85ers that jumped to 205 would be a problem up there.
Yeah, there's a couple. I mean, I can see Luke Rockhold beating some dudes at 205. I could see Yoel Romero beating some dudes at 205.
Yep.
I could definitely see Chris Weidman beating some dudes at 205. So, excuse me. There's some guys that could do some things up there, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like 205 just seems like real stagnant right now. It's there's nothing that can be done about it. It's a stagnant division at the moment.
How'd you feel about the stoppage with Henderson and Mousasi? Because I kind of thought he got tagged, and he did that punch out swivel when you catch a guy and punch out and knock him out, and he kind of did the swivel and then he caught himself. But I've watched the fight 3 times, 3 different ways, and I'm just like, I don't know. It was kind of touch and go.
Here's what I think. I don't think it should have been stopped right there. I know what the referee saw. I can understand what he saw.
Right.
I just don't think the fight should have been stopped right there. Like, you got to give him a little bit of an opportunity to do something.
Right.
He did get hit. He did, tumble, but and I don't know. I felt weird, like, seeing a fight stop like that.
I agree.
But, I mean, Dan Henderson is a 44-year-old man. Like, he's getting up there to be fighting. And he's got some hard miles on his body. So I could, if the ref took that into account, even though he shouldn't have, if he took that into account, I can understand that. But, you got to give him more time to fight. I think it was a bad stoppage.
You know what it is? I watched it and I'm like, I don't know, man, because it was kind of a glancing blow, but he kind of did the swivel like he got caught. And then he was still kind of defending. So I'm like, he's kind of defending. So I and I feel bad because it's like, yo, it's not like Hendo's not trying, like he's not going out there. Like he didn't phone it in,
Yeah, like I agree. Like I feel like Hendo should have got a little bit more of a chance to fight back.
Yep.
But I mean, it's really no bust. That was a bad stoppage. But I mean, he is an older guy, and you kind of, if the referee took that into account, which he, like I said, he shouldn't have, but if he did take it into account, I can understand why he was like, yeah, I need to stop this.
Well, you know what it is? You got to also, and again, this is me, and again, it's a little bit armchair quarterback, but think about it. You got to also respect the guy that's in there. This is a fucking guy who had a war with Shogun twice. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you got to make sure that guy is dead before you stop that fight. As terrible as it sounds, but you got to respect the guy that's in there. And I think that's also about just the officials involved. Like, sometimes you got to look and be like, yeah, you know, I can't sleep on Hendo too much because this is a guy that's had some legendary fucking wars. So let me respect the guy and see if he's really out, you know?
Yeah, I just feel like, yeah, like you said, like in that situation, and I feel like that's for every fighter. Like at high level MMA, you got to give the dudes an opportunity to fight.
Yep.
Now, like in the next fight, I think that was a little too much of an opportunity to fight back. But you got to find the perfect medium to either give them an opportunity and not get them really hurt,
right,
and not stopping it too early.
But those two fights for Hendo and Shogun, dude, those are fights that knocked years off those guys' lives. I don't care what anybody says. Those are fights that those guys will be talking about it in the twilight of their career. Like, man, you know, Hendo's gonna be like, that fucking Brazilian son of a bitch fucked me up, you know?
If they can remember it.
If they can remember.
Yeah, like they both of them have taken some really bad beatings, and then you got Shogun, who was from Shuto Box, and the way they use the spar, like those are two older dudes that are way older than their actual age.
It's like, how old are you? 44? You mean 64? Nah, 44, 64. But
you got the body of a 64-year-old.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. But another guy who I think got some years knocked off his life, Alexander Gustafsson against Anthony Rumble Johnson. Interesting fight for a couple of reasons. Gustafsson, a lot of people felt that this was I don't even want to say it was a John Jones simulation for Anthony Johnson, but when we're looking about statistics and reach and size, similar. We're not talking ability, just build and size. And it was interesting to see how Johnson used his fighting style to close the distance. How did you view that? Because for me, I took it like Anthony Johnson's been watching some tape and he knew the right way to close the distance.
Yeah. I thought that he did a good job of Anthony Johnson's game is predicated on pressuring you. Like he wants to walk you down.
Yep.
And basically beat you up. And he did a really good job in that fight of walking Gustafsson down, getting him to the position to land his punches. My thing though is like one, the fight should have been stopped a while ahead of time. They allowed Anthony Johnson to knock brain cells off of Gustafsson. But Gustafsson, in size-wise, I guess you can say they're similar.
Right.
He fights a lot differently to John Jones.
Oh, yeah, the fighting style is going to be different, but the reach, you know what I mean? Like, just training for reach. Like, if I were fighting a guy bigger than me, I'm going to train with a guy who's similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and apparently Johnson trained with somebody who's like 6'7". Like,
right.
he went into it knowing he's going to fight somebody taller. I think in this fight, he did a really good job of closing distance. I think the problem that Gustafsson came into is Gustafsson fights a lot of times with his hands kind of low.
Yep.
And I think when he went for that push kick, which you could hear them on TV calling for, which was incredibly stupid. When he went for that push kick, he got caught, and Anthony Johnson could probably knock out an elephant. Like he punches crazy hard, punches and kicks crazy hard. But I think he beat the better fighter. And I think with Anthony Johnson, when he fights, he has what everybody likes to say other people have a puncher's chance. He has a real puncher's chance. Like if he hits you, you might go to sleep. Like you might be the better fighter than him overall in MMA. And I think Gustafsson, well, I don't know so much about Gustafsson because Gustafsson's a good fighter, but I don't know if you could say he's purely the better fighter. But I think like John Jones is clearly a better MMA fighter. But if he lets Johnson just hit him, he can go sleep. And like I don't think there's any fighter who legit can just take a punch from Anthony Johnson and be fine.
Well, you know what I was saying? I was saying after I saw that fight that I'd give anything to see a sports science feature on Anthony Johnson's punching power.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I'd love to see that.
Like this is like I can only imagine what it must have been like getting hit by him at 170. Like I can, like, I mean, I'm
criminal.
assuming it was slightly less powerful, but goodness, like it's just the way he hits dudes, and like their entire mindset on the fight changes.
Yep.
Like,
Well, he fought at
like
heavyweight,
it's
remember?
insane. Yeah, and he beat up Andre Arlovski. Like,
Right.
He hits you, and your entire mindset on what you want to do in a fight against him changes. And like I said, I don't know exactly how that translates against John Jones, because I kind of feel like their fight would probably look a whole lot like the Rampage fight, with John Jones being way, way away from him and having way more kicking oriented game
Right.
than Gustafsson does.
But I will say this though,
And so, yeah,
you know, to stop you there 1 second, the
Mhm.
the Rampage fight, I can understand where you see the parallels there, but I just feel Johnson is a more durable fighter.
oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. No. When I say the Rampage fight, I don't necessarily mean it'll play out with, you know, him kind of quitting towards the end and getting super discouraged. But I feel like John Jones' game plan will probably be very similar, where he'll be able to keep Johnson away from him better than I think Gustafsson can, because Gustafsson's game is so predicated on the hands that I just think that like John Jones will be able to keep him at distance with kicks, maybe every now and again throw some punches or elbows in there. But I just don't see. Not that I can't see Gustafsson knocking him out. I mean, not Gustafsson, Johnson knocking him out, because I think he legit has a chance of knocking him out. I just see like John Jones doing that kind of game plan, just keeping him away, kicking him to the leg, kicking him to the body, kicking him to the head, just keeping him at distance.
Well, I'll tell you this,
and maybe taking him down at some point.
Doing it from, you know, looking at this fight from both outlets. I'm gonna look at it from Anthony Johnson's perspective first. Going into this fight with John Jones, I think Anthony Johnson is going to need to utilize that overpowering strength and work from up against the cage. I think if he bullies in, walks him down, there's success there in working more so the body than anything else. I mean, yeah, it's easy to throw the haymaker and go for the knockout, but a lot of guys that fight Jones don't try and work the body effectively. If you've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
They either try and chop down the tree, or they try and go for the haymaker. And I just feel that working offense against the body is just something that it's not something that they're thinking of. I don't know why.
I kind of feel like because it's difficult to do. Like I feel like because of the way John Jones fights, you are so far away from him that it's kind of hard to get in a position to throw these body shots. Like, because I mean, really, outside of DC, like, who has gotten close enough?
Right.
Who has put John Jones in a position where he has to worry about a body shot from you?
But using,
you know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean, sorry to cut you off. Using DC as an example, though, DC working the body, outside of the outcome and outside of you know, just personal allegiances, DC working the body was working, you know.
Yeah, like, I mean, my thing with that fight is, like, and it was funny, like, I don't think I called in that I didn't call in that next week, so I didn't really talk about the fight.
Right.
Is going into the end of the third round, even though John Jones, I felt, won that round, he looked so much more tired than DC, and we found out that wasn't the case.
Right.
But he looked so much more tired than DC, and I think Anthony Johnson. See, I've never really seen Anthony Johnson really work a body game.
Right.
Like, and it's just, you know, with like I'm saying, like with John Jones, you're stuck so far out at distance that you have to fight a certain way. And though Anthony Johnson, I think, can knock him out, I don't think he has the type of clinch game that, say, Daniel Cormier does, where Daniel Cormier, you know, can get inside on you, hit you with those short hooks, those little body shots and little body knees and stuff like that. I don't know if he has that type of game, but I mean, I can really see. I can see the fight playing out in that fashion where Anthony Johnson kind of walks him down and tries to, you know, clinch with him and get him against the cage and everything. This is one of the few guys I can see an actual route that he can beat John Jones.
Right.
It's as a relatively, I won't say unlikely route. It's not the most
It's not
likely
absolute, but
route.
it's there, is what you're saying.
But it is a route that I could see him winning.
I'll go and look at it from this perspective. From a marketability standpoint, both guys really look forward to selling this fight, and I think the fans are in for something special. But I will say this: I think John Jones fighting Anthony Rumble Johnson, he's gonna get the fight that he wished he had with Daniel Cormier. Remember what he said in one of his interviews? He goes, I'd like to fight my equal. Or I'd like to fight somebody who has the capacity to be my equal. And I think Anthony Johnson has it because he's grown into his frame at 205. He's established a solid, not even a solid, a successful striking game. On top of the fact that I just feel that Anthony Johnson has more strength that he just doesn't use. And that's what's going to make this fight very interesting. Because I think Jones is gonna try and clinch, maybe use his knees, try and use a little bit of the Muay Thai game, and he's gonna deal with a guy that may shrug him off.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we won't know what it looks like until we actually see the fight. Because I kind of thought that DC would be physically stronger than him. Like I legit thought Daniel Cormier would be able to kind of do that, like shuck him off a little bit. You know, make it a kind of fight where John Jones doesn't have the strength advantage. So we'll see once the fight gets here. I do think they at least have comparable strength. Like, I don't think John Jones is straight up stronger than him.
No.
But
it's two different types of strength. Like we were talking about what you just said about knocking out an elephant. It's like there's guys that have all-around strength. Then there are guys that have never touched a weight, go in there and warm up with 2 1/4, and your eyes just fall out of their head. You know what I mean? Like when we were joking about a couple of months back, you were like, yo, grown man strength. You know?
Yeah.
that's kind of in the capacity that we're at. And I think in his case, he's embraced his frame. You know, his frame is adjusted to carrying weight for 205, to cutting accurately to 205. And not only that, but just being able to not exert enough energy. Because even in that fight with Gustafsson, even though it was a short fight, he still looked fresh, you know, for carrying that kind of size.
Yeah. I think he's an amazing athlete. Like I really, really look forward to what this fight looks like because I mean it can either be like I said, it could either end up looking a lot like the Rampage fight or it could end up looking like like something we haven't seen before. Like I think it'll be a really interesting fight to see play out. I do think John Jones is a better overall MMA fighter, but I mean, you got a guy like Anthony Johnson, like we said, can probably knock out an elephant. Like he just has that kind of power.
Yep, it's going to be a fight that's going to be booked based on the fact that they're going to probably do the build on a guy overcoming the odds, you know, leaving the organization, coming back, adjusting to this new division, and just steamrolling dudes. And you know, Joe Rogan goes with the hard sell, but I look at it from the standpoint that this is a guy, and you and I have been doing the shows together a long time, and you know for a fact this is a guy that fought at 170.
Barely.
Again, barely, but again, 170. And it's funny because Mortis says you know, Anthony Johnson's enemy was the scale and eye pokes. And it's true. The scale and eye pokes were his enemy. But when the guy finally realized, like, yo, I can't do this 170 shit. I can't do this 185 shit. Let me fight where I'm supposed to be. And that's what it is. Sometimes you just need that wake-up call. And boy, did he get it. And boy, did that wake-up call lead to a lot of dudes going to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, he looks so much better at this weight class. It's insane. And it's funny, like, you hear MMA media say, like, he was an asshole when he was at 170.
Right.
And, like, he's now, like, super nice at 205 because he doesn't have to starve himself anymore.
That's it.
Like, so, I mean, I'm looking forward to the fight. I cannot wait to see how this fight looks, how it actually turns out looking.
Yeah, and all signs are pointing to us not having to wait too long to see it.
Yeah, I'm hearing May.
Yeah, I am hearing May, which is going to be very interesting. There's a couple other fights I wanted to discuss. I just wanted to point out the bonuses that got handed out. $50,000 performance bonus, of course, went to Anthony Johnson. Big shocker there. Gegard Mousasi got a bonus. Makwan Amikani should have got a bonus with that flying knee knockout. And Kenny Robertson also got a performance bonus as well. One fight card that I kind of wanted to run by you because it was starting to take shape is Fight Night 62, March 21st in Brazil. Ben Saunders taking on Eric Silva. Thoughts?
It should be a good fight.
Straight kickboxing match.
I think, I think Eric Silva could probably win if it stays in the first round. If he goes out of the first round, he's going to lose. Like Eric Silva, it's insane that at 170 he has that small of a gas tank, but I just like if he gets out of the first round, he's probably going to lose. But it should be a good fight.
Yeah, well, also on that card, Rafael Assunção is going to be taking on Uriah Faber. Matt Wyman's fighting on that card. A couple of good fighters. Josh Thompson's taking on Gilbert Burns. Now, a solid card overall for March 21st. That Uriah Faber, Rafael Assunção fight looks incredibly promising.
Yeah, that's probably a number one contender fight too. Like that's probably, although if Hannibal Rao wins again, I really have no desire to see him fight Uriah Faber again. But that's probably a number one. That's probably, I could see that being a number one contender fight.
I definitely would like to see, and I mean, again, this is looking at it from the standpoint of just competitive fighting. I'd like to see Uriah Faber take on TJ Dillashaw. I need to see that fight.
I'd like to see it too.
I need to see that fight because it's just like, it makes you wonder. It's like, can the pupil beat the teacher?
Yeah, that's the fight I really want to see. Like,
yep.
I mean, and I think they've said they'll fight.
Yeah, they said they'll fight.
It wouldn't surprise me if they would. Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me because I could see TJ Dillashaw just going to train with Dwayne Ludwig and
yep.
Whoever trains. I think Martin Kampman is the main trainer now.
I think and Boss too. I saw Boss was involved too because of I saw a Inside MMA special where they were at the Bang gym, and Boss was helping him out too.
Yeah, so I really, really, really am interested in how that fight looks. I kind of picked TJ Dillashaw on that, mostly because I think TJ Dillashaw is the more dynamic of them at this point in their careers. But
right,
yeah, I would love to see that fight.
Is it crazy that I'd say that I'd give anything for Boss Rutan to jump in a time machine and fight in the UFC? I'd give anything, like now in the land, I'd give anything to see Boss Rutan fight, dude. Anything.
Yeah, Boss Rutan was fun when he was fighting. I mean, and plus he would be another personality.
Yep.
For the light heavyweight division, probably.
Dude, I watched him fight, when I was younger, and I was just like, yo, this guy's amazing. liver kick knockouts for days.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see him again.
I'd give anything to see that. I want to talk about UFC's expansion into Europe. They're really just going for blood. UFC Fight Night 69 is going to be in Berlin at the O2 World Arena, June 20th. UFC Fight Night 73 is going to be in Glasgow. That's going to be airing on Fox Sports 1. And get this, the UFC is going to Poland April 11th. Gee, what's the headlining fight for that card?
Mirko Cro Cop versus Gabriel Gonzaga too, because that's what the world's been waiting on.
Yeah, but think about it. You sign Cro Cop, you fight in Poland. You know he's gonna main event. You know that arena is gonna be filled to the gills.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with them doing it. I mean, they need to drug test him. Like I said again, after the fight I saw him in what was it, Dream or whatever?
Glory. Was it Glory or
Glory? Yeah, Glory. Yeah, they need to drug test him. But yeah, I mean, this is why you bring him back. Like, what else are you going? Where else are you going to put him? Like,
I want to see that fight.
To see what the fight looks like.
I definitely want to see that fight. Gonzaga's a crazy dude, and knowing him, he's gonna be like, I'm just gonna go out there and stand and bang with this dude. It's like, duh, you don't want to do that.
I mean, Gonzaga knocked him out the first time, so
he did, But like anything else, once bitten, it's not happen. It's not gonna happen the same way again unless the guy's exposed. But I think Kokop is gonna watch some tape on this one, and be like, "Yep, that's how he caught me the last time. Let's not do that shit again."
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the fight looks like, and I'm also interested to see what Crow Cop looks like back in the UFC.
Absolutely.
Because the heavyweight division, outside of the top 5 or 6 guys, is kind of weak.
Ugh.
And I'd be interested to see what he looks like.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the heavyweights because UFC Fight Night 61, February 22nd, main event Frank Mir, Antonio Bigfoot Silva. But that co-main is Edson Barboza taking on Michael Johnson.
That should be good. That should be a really good fight. I know why Michael Johnson wasn't fighting, but it should be a really good fight.
I want to see Frank Mir and Easter Island square off. I think those two guys, it's going to be real interesting just because, Antonio Bigfoot Silva, it's like fighting the Big Show in the WWE. And I just know that Frank Mir, correction, to quote Joe Rogan, it depends on which Frank Mir shows up.
Yeah, Frank Mir is kind of a spent force, kind of, at this point in his career, it seems. And I don't know, like I'd be interested to see how the fight looks. It should be interesting. I mean, and plus, Bigfoot Silva's head is so damn big that there's a good chance that he gets knocked out just because he can't move his head.
Dude, that guy has -5 head movement. It's like it's not moving. It's like a bullseye.
Yeah, he can't do nothing with his head. Like, I mean, that's a dude that there's just nothing he can do about the fact that he has no head movement whatsoever.
I'll tell you this though, if that fight went to the ground, I'd like to see that.
Yeah. I mean, although I think that Frank Mir is better, Antonio Silva is bigger.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see what they could do to each other.
Well, it's like is Frank Mir gonna try and take another arm home with him?
Yeah.
Because that's really the question. It's like, Frank Mir trying to go out there and break dudes' joints, man. He's not even playing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be really interested to see what that looks like.
And Bigfoot's another guy. That dude won't tap. That's what I'm saying. Frank Mir's gonna have to break something on that dude.
Probably.
Which is terrible to say, but it's like, imagine that big dude just having a bone broken in the cage. Like, oh my God, it's just terrible.
Yeah, that'd be ugly. That would be really ugly. Oof.
Well, it looks like Cyborg. It looks like Chris Cyborg got a fight. She's taking on Charmaine Tweet. Invicta has a card February 27th. Very, very weird that she has a fight, and then they're saying that the UFC is kind of still negotiating with her. And, Invicta's like, well, if she wants to go, it's all right. And I'm just like, something's going on.
Well, UFC, I think, owns Invicta to an extent, or something like that. So
yeah, they have a working
that doesn't
arrangement.
necessarily surprise me. Huh?
They have a working arrangement.
Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily surprise me that that's something that's happening. My whole thing with that is, if you're not going, I would be shocked if she still fights Robbie. Like, if I'm not fighting her. Like, if you can't make the weight, why should I ever fight you? Like,
there's got to be something. Something's going to be
Yeah.
negotiated to make that fight happen, dude, because you cannot have that fight. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, maybe make them do it at a catch weight, like at
Right.
140.
Right.
Actually, that would probably be the best thing to do, is do it at a catch weight at 140. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, Cyborg is, I don't know how to feel about her at this point. Like, she's done all this talking, like she's gonna make the weight and she's gonna do this and gonna do that, and hasn't like come anywhere near doing it.
Yeah,
So,
but you know why that also might
I'd
be?
interested. What's that?
I said that, another reason why that might be? Money.
Why? Yeah. If they give her enough money, she probably. If you give her enough money, she probably can make 35, because they're not bringing 145-pound women to the UFC.
Nope.
Like, if people think the other divisions are shallow, there is nobody at 145 except Cyborg.
That's it.
That would be the only. And Marlos Kunin. That's
Yep.
it. So, and I think Marlos Kunin fights at 135 most of the time now. So, I mean, it's just there's nothing you can do at that point. So, I don't know. I'd be interested to see what happens with her.
Yeah, well, there's a featherweight championship fight for Cyborg. It's like, all right, it's a title fight. Great. But if she wins, what then?
Nothing. She wins. I have a feeling she's going to end up in the UFC and they'll probably do it at 140. Because I don't see Rousey ever going up to 145. Like, she has no reason to do that.
Definitely not. Well, I will say this, and this is actually good news to report. Tough 18 winner Juliana Pena comes back. UFC Fight Night 63, taking on Milana Dudieva. That's taking place April 4th. Also on that card, Chad Mendes, Ricardo Lamas, and Benson Henderson taking on Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, no, that should be a really good card. I'm interested to see what Jessica Penne looks like. I think, what was her last fight, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
You mean Juliana Pena? Jessica Penne is another lady.
Yeah, I'm getting confused. Juliana Penne, I'm trying to think when her last fight was. It was a couple of years ago since she destroyed her knee.
Yeah, and that crazy freak accident in the training session.
Yeah, which had like a million different stories on what actually happened. So,
yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what that looks like. What she looks like coming back. It would be interesting. It will be interesting just to see what she looks like. But yeah, man, like I'm looking forward to seeing what she looks like coming back. Especially after a knee injury like that and being out for so long. Just to see what she looks like, how she's fighting. So I'm interested to see that fight, and the Jorge Masvidal Ben Henderson
Absolutely.
fight should be really good.
Those fights are going to stand and trade.
Yeah, hopefully Ben Henderson is aggressive.
Yep.
Something he sometimes tend not to be recently. But yeah, so it should be a good fight.
I will say this: I was tripped out about the Brian Bowles story because that was just out of control. Drug charges, weapon charges.
Yeah.
They had methamphetamines in the guy's house, diazepam, marijuana. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, he's not in the UFC. Like, he's been cut, hasn't he?
No, they said he's still.
I don't think he was ever officially cut.
Yeah, he's listed as an active fighter. He hasn't fought since May 2013 when he lost to George Roop. Then he tested positive for elevated levels of tests and was suspended for 9 months.
Yeah, it's insane that basically he's probably about to go to jail for a long time. Because from what I understand, I think he's still in prison. Like,
yep.
And this was early in the month, and he's still locked up. So he's probably about to be in jail for a while.
Yeah, it's crazy though.
It's insane that you make poor life decisions. Poor life decision, man. You go from being possibly the best bantamweight in the world at once for a very short period of time to breaking all the bones of your body like he tended to do back in WEC.
Absolutely.
To being a meth dealer, it seems. So,
dude, it was crazy. He had
life comes at you fast.
Yeah, it was possession of methamphetamine, possession of a Schedule 4 drug, possession of a Schedule 4 drug with intent to sell, possession of marijuana with intent to sell, possession of tools for the commission of a crime, and possession of a firearm.
Yeah, life comes at you fast, man. I mean, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I thought he would. I had a feeling he never got kicked out. I had a feeling he never left the UFC, and it's crazy that he's still technically an active fighter. Hasn't fought in like 3 years, but still technically an active fighter, and is out here dealing meth. It's insane.
But again, that's the first thing the news will pick up. Oh, active UFC fighter, and Dana White's like, fuck, why didn't we fire this guy?
Technically, he's not active. He hasn't fought in a while. Like, that would be my response if I'm Dana White. Like, he ain't fought in a while, so technically, he's not really active.
There you go. Speaking of the chopping block, aside from Brian Bowles most likely being on it now officially, A couple of fighters got cut. Igor Pokrayets got cut. Rodrigo Dam got cut. Tom Nimaki got cut. Mike Rhodes, Sean Soriano got cut, and bantamweight fighter Alexis Dufresne got cut. She had the one-sided loss to Marion Renault, and she also had trouble making weight.
That's not something they're gonna let you do, like, because I think she missed weight for both of her fights. So
That she
yeah,
did.
you got to at least win your fight if you're gonna miss weight.
Damn,
Like,
they just
if
chop
you're
and
gonna
block.
miss weight, at least win your fight.
This is true. You know what's funny? They cut all those guys. They cut all those guys loose. They cut her loose, and I'm just saying to myself, that's just because they're trying to find an opponent for CM Punk.
Man, they're about to sign some dude that's had like one fight to fight CM Punk.
Dude, Fertitta said in an interview about that, they said, I think it has to be somebody with some level of credentials. It's not just going to be some guy off the street. It's going to be somebody who is a professional mixed martial artist. Certainly somebody who MMA media will recognize and know. But I'm going to defer to Joe Silva. We'll let him bring 2 or 3 names to the table, and we'll figure it out from there. But I'll guarantee you it will be a competitive guy, according to, ESPN.
Okay, I really don't think that's, if you want him to have a chance of winning his fight, you probably don't bring in somebody who really, not that really knows how to fight per se, but really is somebody who's had professional MMA fights.
Dude, just give him Cathal Pendred and be done. Shit,
CM Punk might be way faster than Cathal Pendred, to be honest with you, because Cathal Pendred is really slow. He might be faster than Cathal Pendred.
Fuck it, but give him
he
that.
Might be able to beat up Cathal Pendred.
There you go. UFC 185 got finalized. That's going down March 14th. Anthony Pettis, Rafael dos Anjos for the lightweight title. Carla Esparza, Joanna Jędrzejczyk for the strawweight title. Roy Nelson taking on Alistair Overeem. I just feel this fight is just a recipe for disaster. Matt Brown and Johnny Hendricks too.
The Matt Brown Johnny Hendricks fight should be really good. The 2 title fights, especially the Anthony Pettis fight, should be really good. And there's a chance Joanna, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce her last name, could possibly beat Carla Esparza. So those would be good. The fight between Big Roy Nelson and Overeem could end in a couple ways. If Overeem gets touched in the face, he might implode. But there's a decent chance that there's a really good chance that he's a better fighter than Roy Nelson. I think he could beat Roy Nelson, but if he gets hit in the face, it's a wrap.
Yeah, Roy Nelson got that nasty knockout power too, and Overeem sometimes comes in there like a bull. And I was saying to myself, I'm like, yo, is it even remotely possible for Overeem to make the cut to 205, you think?
Not at this point.
No, definitely not, right?
He cuts to 265. Like, he's huge now. Well, maybe after he's lost some of that
enhanced weight.
Maybe he can. Say what?
I said that enhanced weight.
Yeah, that enhanced weight. Maybe he could possibly make it, or at least make it a decent attempt. But he's still run into a pretty similar problem at 205. Like, this dude at 205 that hit really hard.
No, I know, but
Overeem's chin has never been good.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you look at him, you look at Roy Nelson, again, guys that you look at and you're like, yo, if you guys just, maybe applied it a little differently, maybe at 205, like Roy Nelson, I look at Roy Nelson, I'm like, dude, you just chilling up there at 265, not even 265, just chilling. It's like, dude, you probably could do it if you wanted to.
Roy Nelson could cut to 205. He doesn't want to. Like, he could cut to 205.
So frustrating. His last fight, dude, his belly was smaller. So I'm like, yo, he's taking it a little seriously, little bit.
Yeah, he could cut to 205. He has no desire to. That's the whole thing with him.
Dude just
Like
likes chilling there.
he likes he likes the fact that he doesn't have to put any work into cutting any weight. Like
I'll tell you this
like
though.
he
Go ahead.
no, I'm good. I'm good.
I was gonna say, if Overeem loses to Roy Nelson,
He's getting cut. Like if he loses to Roy Nelson, he's done.
it's gonna be Alistair Overeem against Bobby Lashley in Bellator. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah. Or he should think about retiring because, I mean, he is not. When Overeem loses, he's getting knocked all the way the fuck out.
I'd like to see him just go to Bellator just so he could get that Lashley fight out of the way. And for some demented reason, I'd like to see Alistair Overeem and Kimbo Slice. I don't know why. I just do.
I mean, those are two dudes that he would destroy, though.
Get him, Ferg. Get him. But I wanna close out the MMA segment on a lighter note. Phil Baroni training to become a pro wrestler.
Okay. Like, I mean, all right. That's what he wants to do.
Natural fit, though.
Not a huge issue with that. Yeah, I mean, not a huge issue with that. Ain't like he really doing anything else with his time.
Well, dude, he fought July 2014 and he lost to Carl Parisian via knockout. First of all, you lost to Carl Parisian. How's that possible?
Yeah. Yeah. He needs, I mean, if he's going to do something, he might want to go ahead and see what wrestling has for him.
I always feel that Phil Baroni would probably make an awesome wrestler. Like sometimes I look at these guys and everybody jokes about all the wrestling guys going into MMA, and then I say to myself, but there's a couple MMA guys that would do all right in wrestling. Like Alistair Overeem as like a bodyguard in wrestling would work. Because dude, let's be realistic. You walk down a dark alley and this dude comes out, and you know the scar on his face, he's just superhumanly big. It's like if you didn't know who he was, you'd be like, holy shit, this guy's gonna kill me.
Yeah. I mean, he is a scary looking dude. Like, he's a giant, scary looking dude.
He is the perfect henchman in an action flick. Like, I don't know why he's not doing that.
Yeah, because he wants to fight. I mean, that's what he's done his whole life is been a professional fighter. And I mean, he I don't know, if he loses this fight and he gets cut, he'd probably just go back to doing K1.
Yeah, he probably would get to glory, but I also know he burned those bridges too, man, on the way out.
Yeah.
That's a problem too, you know what I mean? Dude left in just a terrible sort of way, taking dudes to court, you know, Boss Boone, all those guys, they were like, yo, this guy fucked us. It was crazy.
Yeah, and that seems to be a
recurring
thing
theme
that he does. Because he got kicked out of Black Zillions too. So
yep.
So
it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it just seems like he burns bridges.
He is that dude. But I figured I'd close out with that. Couple of things. I know you did a brand new episode of Black is the New Black today, and I know we got Super Bowl weekend coming up. Where do you stand? How do you feel about Marshawn Lynch just killing it today at Media Day?
I find it hilarious that anyone I find it absolutely hilarious the amount of caring that people have towards he doesn't owe y'all nothing. Like, he doesn't want to talk to y'all. Y'all want him to talk. He doesn't want to talk. Let the man be. Like, I don't know. It's hilarious.
Dude, it's a chess game, and the reason I wanted to bring it up is because, you know, I know you guys talk sports there and amongst other things. And it's just crazy to me that we see this stuff. And, you know, the reason I brought it up is because you were sharing the Stephen A. Smith. And I realized that there's probably I hate Skip Bayless. And I hate Skip Bayless so much. But Stephen A. Smith is slowly creeping into that list of sports guys who I just want to kick into a wood chipper head first.
Yeah, like I said on the post, like at one time he was maybe my favorite guy on ESPN.
Right.
And then as he's been on First Take, he's morphed into this person that's just annoying as hell. Like,
but I just
maybe it's seeing him every day is just.
I just, and you know, we'll wrap it with this. I just want to say that it's like, yo, we watch sports to watch sports. I don't give a shit about the interview. Fuck it. The guy don't want to talk.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Leave alone.
Exactly. I can give a fuck. Like, honestly, I don't care what any of these dudes have to say. Most
There
of
you
the time.
go.
Like, it's just, like I just want to watch you do you. That's why, like, I had this conversation with another MMA fan, on a blog, and he was like, "How can you not care about what John Jones does?" Because I like watching him fight. I don't give a fuck what he does outside the cage.
That's it.
I don't give a fuck what these dudes do on their. Unless you out here committing like super bad crimes, I don't give a shit what you do outside. Like, I just don't care.
But I just feel that the media, and this is why, you know, and I gotta say this too, because I was watching the media day for Anderson Silva and Nick Diaz. And, you know, you watch these journalists ask these questions, and it's just like, so how does it feel being in Arizona for the Super Bowl? Really? That's what you're asking me? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, how does it feel? You got any of your injuries bothering you? Why would I tell you that? You know what I like I just watched some of this shit. Like Anderson Silva, he said in the interview, and he was like, hey, stop asking me about my leg. Everybody asks me about my leg. Everybody wants to look at my leg. My leg is fine. He's normal. You know, he's like, yo, my leg is good. Leave me alone.
So many times you can ask the same question.
And that's, I think, what frustrates so many of these guys, and they know they're getting trapped, so they just wild out. Like Marshawn Lynch I think he's just reached a point where he's just like, since I'm gonna get fined if I don't talk to y'all, then I'm just gonna talk to y'all in the most boring way possible, so y'all don't want to talk to me.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Exactly. And that's exactly, and the best part of that is, it's like when the press heard that, they should have just been like, all right, he's here because he doesn't want to get fined. Next, let's talk to X guy. Exactly. But they just know that, yo, we got to poke this dude so that we could get our 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's gotten to a point of ridiculousness. I'm only watching the game. I haven't really watched any ESPN. I mean, especially when they started doing all that Deflategate shit, I was just like, I'm done caring about anything till the game.
That's
like,
it.
I don't want to hear nothing else about it until the actual game.
That's it. I'm at the stage where it's just like, yo, let's just let the shit come and go. And it's like, I don't really give a shit about either team, but it's gonna be worth watching a play just on the strength that you're gonna watch it. You know, like I always end up watching the Super Bowl. I mean, I used to watch it with my mom, regardless of what team was in there. I mean, I had a couple teams that I liked, but I always followed more players than teams, because the players could change teams and you could still root for them. You know? Yeah. Like LaDainian Tomlinson, when he was in the Chargers, I rooted for him. When he was in the Jets in that terrible season, I rooted for him. You know what I mean? Like that's how the shit works. So I just feel better doing it that way. But that doesn't take away from me watching the game. You know?
Yeah. No. Exactly. So I don't know. I'm annoyed with all the media with this shit. Like I'm just ready for the game to come and go.
Well, the reason also why I brought up your show and I brought up the stuff is, and I'm gonna put this public so you are aware of the gravity of it. If you and Taylor get your schedule and your shit together, then we could put Black is the New Black on Rageworks.
That would be dope, man. It's hard to get an exact schedule because of the way both our jobs work, because I work nights. So it's like it's hard to get an exact schedule. But if we can get an exact schedule, I would love to do that. Like,
if you could get it down to once a week, at least once a week, every week, we can talk. So there you go. It's official and it's public.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. So I will definitely tell Taylor, and we will get you an actual once a week schedule, because we can actually do that.
Yeah, once a week, we could get it out there. You guys know the deal, audio wise. You know, keep it within the confines or whatever. But I figured I'd put it public so you know that I'm not fucking around.
Yeah, for real, man. That is that is a big opportunity so we get more people listening. Yeah. So I'll talk to Taylor. We'll get you with the once a week, and I will definitely hit you back up about that.
All right, so there you have it, guys. We're gonna try and get Black is the New Black on RageWorks. Our very own Ben at Blackout89 on Twitter. Anything else you want to add, bro?
Nah, man. Just check out the show. Black is the New Black. Mixer.com/Black is the New Black. And that's it, man. Happy to be here.
There you go. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it, Ben.
All right, man.
Peace. There you go. Our very own Ben has left the building. Make sure to go to mixler.com/Black is the New Black. And if everything goes according to plan, who knows? You may see Black is the New Black on RageWorks, covering hip-hop, sports, geek culture, you name it. Ben and Taylor do it. Be on the lookout for that. Hopefully we get it all squared away and you guys can enjoy that, because they really are doing good things, and I really want to try and help one of our own out. I mean, Ben does great stuff for us. He's been ride or die with RageWorks and My Take Radio for a long time, and I think he's earned the platform to shine. So definitely, like I said, show your support. Check it out, mixler.com/Black is the New Black. All right, so we're going to wrap it up and jump into some wrestling for this week. Definitely some crazy stuff going on. I want to talk Royal Rumble. I know that Slick is going to have some stuff I'm sure he's going to want to add. So let's not waste any more time and get that ball rolling, shall we? Booker T, where you at? Take it away.
We want the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
My Take Radio's wrestling segment is brought to you by WWE Shop.com. Get all your favorite wrestler t-shirts, including this badass Paul Heyman guy t-shirt, by heading over to WWE Shop.com and using our promo code WWE Save 10. You can save $10 on orders over $70 or more. And considering that WWE shirts are getting a lot better, a lot cooler designs as of late, you definitely can drop $70 and we can help you save 10. Again, use our promo code WWE Save 10. All right, so we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble, but before we get into that, I want to talk about Lucha Lee's Royal Rumble contest, which he had leading up to the Rumble. Definitely a great job on his part. Rules were simple. Pick a superstar, pick a number, and if your superstar and that number are correspond to the Royal Rumble and that superstar wins, you will get a t-shirt of your choice, courtesy of RageWorks and Lucha Lee. Definitely lots of props to him for putting in all the work to get that rolling. He got a great turnout, and we got ourselves a winner. Sandy OD is the winner and is getting a brand new WWE t-shirt of her choice for the superstar of her choice, courtesy of Lucha Lee and RageWorks. Congratulations to Sandy OD for participating in the contest and picking the winner, which of course we all know is Roman Reigns. All right, so speaking of Roman Reigns and the crazy turnout, I gotta say this, and Mortis corrected me on the rules and I fucked up. I apologize, Mortis. You needed to pick the number and the winner won the t-shirt. So there you have it. Mortis cut me some slack, breaking my balls. But either way, congrats to Sandy OD for that, and of course Mortis, aka Lucha Lee, for delivering an awesome contest. Definitely something we want to continue going forward. Great job on that. I'm glad he brought it to my attention. I'm glad he suggested it, because we did get a great turnout. Anyway, let's talk Royal Rumble, which was a freak show in every sense of the word. And I want to say this before we get into the Rumble, because there were so many different views, so many different things that came out of that. Fans that were just angry, people that were upset, talking about canceling the network. And I want to say this before I even address the entire card. First off, there is no competition in the wrestling industry. There is not. There's WWE and everyone else. And given that you're getting pay-per-views for $10, it's not always going to be an amazing, mind-blowing pay-per-view. It's not going to happen. Competition feeds creativity. It feeds innovation. There is no competition. Hate to break it to you guys. Ring of Honor, TNA, Lucha Underground. All great promotions, but let's be realistic. None of them are competing head-to-head with the WWE. Not on television, not in ratings, not in arenas, nothing. Not happening. So, before you get all piss and vinegar and talk about cancel the network and blah, 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 realize that $10 is not just for that pay-per-view. That $10 is for every episode of Monday Nitro that you watch, every episode of ECW that you watch, every SmackDown rerun, every piece of original programming, every other pay-per-view outside of the one that sucked. So before you get on your high horses and start complaining, realize that for $10, you're getting other shit that kind of softens the blow of one shitty pay-per-view. Simple as that. And the reason I say this is because I'm not defending the WWE. On the contrary, there were a lot of missteps in the Royal Rumble across the board. But I'm defending the fact that we are paying $10. $10. Unless you're a jackass and you're paying the $50 and buying the shit on pay-per-view, in which case, spend the $10 and don't spend the $50. These are the facts. The $50 that you spend on a pay-per-view or $60, that's 6 months of the network. That's 6 pay-per-views. That's countless episodes of NXT. Countless episodes of original programming that you could be watching instead of spending the money on one pay-per-view so you can hop on Twitter and boo-hoo and complain that it didn't live up to your standards. There is no competition. Hate to break it to you guys. There is none. And since there is no competition, WWE can kind of phone it in whenever the fuck they feel like it. So the sooner we accept that, the sooner we can analyze the rest of this shit and move on. Simple as that. But I saw way too many dudes, way too many people that I know on their high horses about shit that really just had no bearing on the overall product. Oh, I'm going to cancel the network. Really? But you watch NXT every week. Fuck it, I don't care. Really? Okay. What about WrestleMania? Whatever. It's going to suck anyway. But it's $10. $10. Think about this. You go to Starbucks. You buy a caramel macchiato, a large one. You spend $5. Spend $5 every day. $5 a day. Oh, that's $25 a week. Monday through Friday. $25, right? That's 2.5 months of the WWE network. 2.5. 2.5. It's very easy to get upset. It's very easy to get bent out of shape about this stuff. But again, you spent $10 on bullshit. You want to know something funny? 12 condoms. 12 condoms in a store run you between $8 to $10 for 12 condoms. That means that there are 12 opportunities for you to stop yourself from having children or catching an STD for the same price as a month of the network. Just saying. You look at the pros and cons of this shit and you realize that some people you can't please them. Don't get me wrong. I come on here. I'm a little jaded, but it's my job. If I wasn't jaded, if I wasn't fire and brimstone, piss and vinegar, whatever you want to call it, we wouldn't have shit to talk about. If everything in wrestling was great, everyone would be happy and no one would complain. And who wants that? I need shitty pay-per-views. I need shitty episodes of Raw. I need crazy angles. I need dudes not getting pushed. Why? So we could deliberate about it and complain because it's entertaining and it's fun. And it's what's expected being a wrestling fan. And I've talked about this. Sometimes you got to just strap in, sit back, and don't analyze. Just enjoy the shit for what it is. Don't get me wrong. I have to stop myself often from being analytical. But again, it's part of my job. Don't make the shit part of yours. Enjoy the high points. Enjoy the low points. You're into backstage segments and comedy bits, enjoy them. You're into 5-star matches, 30-minute Iron Man matches, knock yourselves out. You're into face GM, heel GM, whatever the case may be, enjoy that shit. Enjoy it. Anyway, Slick just brought to my attention that our very own Jay Santy is on line 1. Let me bring him in. Big J, welcome to the party.
You have no idea of what kind of explanation I had to do to certain people over in social media and face to face. Like if I was the one who was the president of WWE.
There you go. But before we even get into that, tell me, am I wrong? Am I wrong for stomping out the canceled WWE Network campaign? Am I wrong for saying that? Because correct me if I'm wrong. $10 fucking dollars. 10. Not 50. 10.
I myself was pleased to see people canceling because now all my reception is actually getting better on all my consoles and my Roku and stuff. So continue canceling your subscription, people. Thank you.
But no, I mean aside from that, and I want to talk about the matches with you. You look at it and you look at the sum of all parts, and I think sometimes wrestling fans just want to be disappointed. Like they want to be upset.
I think when it comes to WWE, like you said, everyone is becoming more and more jaded because now they feel as though that they know a little bit more because of the internet and stuff. So maybe as though that they could probably have a better product that they could push out there. Where at the the real reality is they don't know shit.
Let me tell you something, and I really needed a let me tell you something, Mean Gene, but I don't want to lose my voice, but you know who's laughing at all of you correction, not you, all of the canceled WWE Network hashtags. You know who's laughing at them? Vince McMahon. You want to know why Vince is laughing at them? Because the WWE Network has 1 million subscribers. After the Royal Rumble, after the pay-per-view most people hated, after 1 million subscribers. Do you think you're solid?
Hulu.
What was that?
And it's faster than Hulu too. I mean, I told people months ago when they were talking about, the WWE Network is floundering and it's not being a success. It's like, dude, wait till Europe opens up. Wait till overseas gets it. It's going to be an explosion. And sure enough, they've proven it right.
Right, and more to said it. That's because the UK got the network. But still, even if the UK got the network or didn't get the network, 1 million is 1 million. Hashtag cancel the service. Everybody's all up in arms. Sunday. Here we are Thursday now, and Vince McMahon's sitting there like, yep, 1 million subscribers. Fuck you very much.
Grinning at everyone with his devilish smile.
That's it. But I do want to talk about the Rumble. The New Day, Cesaro took on Cesaro, Kid, and Adam Rose, and I just was disappointed in every aspect of the match because here we have 5 underutilized talents. 5 because Adam Rose fucking sucks. And unless they repackage him, he will continue to suck. But 5 underutilized talents floundering in a pre-show match that was okay, but just had zero incentive for people to watch.
But man, did you like that Cesaro shirt though?
Cesaro was a beast in that entire turn of events, dude. Every part of his and Kid's offense was fantastic. Shades of Power and Glory, shades of a lot of old school tag teams, that worked. But there was zero investment on the part of the crowd. They give 2 shits about that match.
I thought, and I said that creative is really trying to get something over with the New Day and with the whole giving the microphones to get the participation going on.
Yep.
It just seems out of sync. not it's not going over the catchphrase and all that. Like you said, these are talent. These are talented guys that just are stuck with a crappy gimmick, and I don't know. You just see nothing else perspiring to be well for them.
Well, you know what it is, dude? And I hate to say this, not everyone is Ms. Dow. Not everyone can make a chicken salad out of chicken shit. Not everyone can do that. Very few people can, dude. Like, sometimes you could take something and make something out of it and make it work to the best of your ability, but other times you just start applying crazy glue, Elmer's glue, rubber bands, and just hoping that it looks like something.
Well, like I said, I mentioned like the Cesaro show. Like I see the Cesaro going for that Bullet Club type look.
Yep.
And like trying to piece together like something that could be at least eye-catching to those true fans of wrestling, that maybe they could grasp or something. But it just seems as though like WWE is not going to allow that to happen fully.
No, absolutely not. I feel that WWE at this point is like, yo, go out there and do your job. That's it. That's where they're at. Same thing with the Ascension.
And it's unfortunate.
Well, looking at the Ascension and the New Age Outlaws went out there and did their job, putting over the Ascension. And I figured it out. The gimmick is the Ascension's going to beat up old school tag teams until they get over. Until either a legendary tag team comes back, a.k.a. the Dudley Boys, or, some up-and-coming tag team is able to oppose them on equal ground.
Yeah, but you could have done the same thing, without having to, taint, try to taint legacy, the legacy of teams like LOD and Demolition. Like, you could still have done the same thing.
Right.
Jericho did it well when he was bashing the old school legends. Like, and these were guys who were on board, and they worked with it, and they put him over as well. Like, there's a certain way around it. But yes, we are hoping that 3D comes back fully.
But it's what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, you and I, where remember when Animal was complaining, but he wasn't really complaining. He's like, yo, if y'all would have put me out there with him, it would have been all right.
Well, utilize the tool that's there.
That's it. I mean, it was a glorified squash. The New Age Outlaws did what they had to do. They got the cheap pop. The Philly crowd was super smart. They knew what the deal was. That's why they weren't even into the match.
Yeah, and then then we have the next lineup that who's hoping to grace their way. Who are they gonna bring out next? Like let's think of the old school brigade of tag teams that could just piece together.
Bushwhackers.
Tito Santana and Rick Martel.
Bushwhackers.
Like Strike Force.
Bushwhackers. It's got to be Bushwhackers, dude.
The Bushwhackers.
It's got to be the fucking Bushwhackers. Or Bushwhackers. I think the Rougeos are still alive.
Conquistador 1, Conquistador 2.
Yes. Can't be Edge and Christian for obvious reasons, but I kind of feel that it's going to lead to the inevitable Dudley's Ascension match. I smell it happening.
Do you think it'll be something that could be leading up to maybe Mania? We could have that match?
You never know.
And not no Mania pre-show match. I mean, like something official. Like a freaking, bring back a TLC match with 4 tag teams going at it. Something like that.
I'd like to see that, dude. I think a TLC match with the Ascension, the Dudleys, and Kid and Cesaro would be good.
That'll work as well, because the New Day's not going to be there.
Nah, dude. If they were smart, I would have, and people are going to think I'm insane, I would have Titus O'Neil try to join the group, and when they won't let him join the group because he's too negative, he should just open their eyes and be like, I'm not the one out there shucking and jiving, looking all stupid on TV. I may not be on TV, but at least I'm not out there looking like a phony, and that'll start opening their eyes, and then you can have it kind of like how The Rock inserted himself into the Nation and took it from Farouk.
Yeah, and then maybe possibly put a turn. Turn them heel. This positive crap isn't working. Come on, guys, we gotta take it, not beg for it.
That's it, dude. Titus O'Neil and Big E as a tag team would be a problem.
Right.
But that's what I mean.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think it'll work, especially with Titus. With Titus, we gotta find something for him. Like he's gonna be, because you see him on his Instagram. He's out there. He's doing such positive things. Like he's out there in the schools. You know, he's doing all this stuff. We gotta find something for him that's, you know, to give him a reason to want to stay with the program.
Boy, oh boy, do I have a story about Titus O'Neil. I'll share in a few minutes. The Usos and Miz Dow was pretty much as academic as you would expect. I just feel that they're going to continue teasing the seeds of dissension. But if they're going to do that, they better have a payoff at Mania. Like, it better be Miz Dow and the Miz at Mania.
Yeah, that was going around that route, but I don't even think it is going to be a Mania type thing. I don't think, if it is, once again, we already see that's a pre-show match.
Unless they pull the trigger and try to do it at Fastlane, but it's too quick, which is terrible. That fucking pay-per-view name is garbage.
I don't even want to think about what that pay-per-view is going to be about. It just sounds like a catastrophe off the bat, but let us continue.
Well, the ladies in the tag team match, I want to be honest, and people are going to think I'm a little crazy. I didn't totally hate this match. And the reason I say that is because the Bellas, and I said this a couple of weeks ago to a friend of mine, the Bellas are in that weird, funky, when Trish Stratus was transitioning from manager to wrestler, that she was getting better, but it just took time. Like, this match wasn't a complete debacle. It wasn't great by any means. There were a fair amount of botches, but it didn't look totally fucking horrid, which is a stretch.
No, I said the same thing because, like you said, although there was botches, they were working pretty stiff. I mean, really, like there was a couple of shots in there. Which that's what I think we've been calling them for the longest. It's like, don't go out there and fluff a mask. If you're gonna, like they always tell you in sports or anything, if you're gonna make a mistake, make it big. And you know, that's what they were doing out there. At least show that you're putting an effort. Don't freaking give it to us that you choreograph everything. I mean, you saw some stiff shots out there that was delivered, and I said it wasn't really that bad.
Well, you know what it was? The other thing is they got almost 10 minutes. So, you know, you give them a little longer match, you give them more to work with, you're going to get a better product, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, if you did get up to go to use the bathroom and you came back, you was like, oh, this match is still on? Okay, let me watch this.
Exactly. You were still checking it out, you know?
Yeah, you were invested for that minute. But, you know, you got to give it to it, too, because at least you can sit there and say, all right, you have Paige and you have Natalie. You have Natalia. You have two girls in there that you know can wrestle. Let's see how they can salvage this.
This is true, but like I said, I think the Bellas now, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still shitty, but I kind of feel that they're turning the corner slowly. But I think they need more 5+ minute matches to really try and expand, you know?
Yeah. Maybe we'll give them more work on superstars, main events. You know, don't give them the big stage just yet.
Yeah, definitely. Main event superstars are great proving grounds to do that stuff. Well,
like we were saying before, just go out there and give it a try. Don't walk through it.
That's it. So on the triples threat match side of things, holy shit! First of all, Brock Lesnar in the early going of that match was dropping dudes on their domes just super haphazardly. Like, I'm like, oh shit, he broke Seth Rollins' shoulder. He's dead.
I was at my job and I put them, you know, I'm sitting there and I have it up and people were watching it because that's all they were really waiting to see. They wanted to see the Brock Lesnar come out, you know, the casual fans. And they're like, you know, everybody like at this look like, damn, isn't this supposed to be wrestling? What the hell is he doing?
Yep. Besides the fact, dude, that Brock Lesnar next to both of those guys, yo, they look like kids next to him. I'm like, yo, he is a massive human being.
He was not a small dude, man.
No, not at all. And it was just crazy, like the suplexes that were being done. And, you know, when Rollins went to jump off the top rope and Lesnar caught him in midair, it's like, dude, very few guys have the brute strength to pull that off and still make it look good. Very few. Mark Henry, maybe, Ryback, The Big Show, but again, a handful of guys.
Yeah, and then when we saw, you know, at Raw, when the face-to-face happened between Roman and Brock, you tend to realize, like, Jesus Christ, Brock is really that big. He's really, He's
Yeah.
really swole.
Well, you know what the funny thing is? Everybody's like, yeah, the triple threat match, blah, blah, blah. It's like I told everybody, I'm like, yo, Brock Lesnar's going to retain, but Seth Rollins is going to become a superstar. And holy shit, was that the case. Dude, beautiful textbook savage elbow off that quarter turnbuckle to the announce table. Beautiful Phoenix splash. Amazing offense. Great storytelling. It was ridiculous.
That wasn't Seth Rollins in the ring that night. That was Tyler Black that was in the ring that night.
That was 100% Tyler Black in there, dude. It was amazing. It was everything in that match came together so well. And even Cena, you know, we all shit on Cena, but we shit on Cena because he's the corporate machine. You know, he embodies what the company wants you to cheer for. But dude, he held his own out there and he made it look legit.
I even wrote and I said, when have we honestly say that we actually watched Cena in a match and said, wow, this is damn good what we're watching from him.
The other spot I got to talk about, dude, Brock Lesnar suplexing both members of J&J Security. Dude, I was like, there was a legit mark out for me. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, for all the naysayers who get upset with him when he comes once in a blue moon, you got to give it to him. When he shows up, he shows up.
Well, that was the other thing, too. It was weird because if you noticed, in the middle part of that match, dude, he was sweating profusely. I'm like, yo, this dude's going to catch a heart attack in there. And then, you know, they did the spot where he got hurt outside. And I said to myself, yo, did the doctors bring a Pedialyte? Like, yo, did they bring a Pedialyte and a banana? Because, yo, he was beyond gassed.
And it wasn't even about like the length. Everything was just it was fast paced, and I think that was just like a little bit too much for him. But I give it to him. He stood up in there, man. Like because everything was like back to back to back to back. There was like no like breath for air. They were all you know, the connection with all of them was rapid.
Well, you know what it is, dude? If that was a work, if Brock Lesnar almost dying outside of the ring was a work, then fuck, we all got played.
That's all right, though, because it was in a good way. I accept that.
Yeah, man, because it's like, yo, he was dead, and then he just came out there, and he just killed everyone. He's like, yep, I won. Thanks.
But we all knew he was gonna walk out of that building with that belt. But
yeah, but not like that.
Listen, we're gonna give them a show.
Yep. It was like, yo, he is literally almost dead right now. Almost dead.
Everybody started that match with all their specials and all their finishers.
That's it, dude.
They just put the cheat code in.
That's it. It was full Brock Lesnar cheat code. And then, like I said, because it's like they show the paramedics come out, and they're like, oh, you know, the announce team just kept calling the match. And I'm like, yo, is Brock Lesnar, like, dying out there? Like, what's going on? And then it was like, oh, my God, Brock Lesnar came in. I was like, holy shit.
Then they're working at, you know, he broke a rib. And from what the paramedics said, he's broken a rib. They're like, damn, and this guy's still working? Shit.
Well, it was weird because it's like, and you know, I just fast forwarding for a second to Monday, when they're like, Brock, were you injured? And he's like, yeah, I got a lot of injuries I'm dealing with. And I was like, that's the right answer.
Let me laissez-faire. I'm fine. Everybody has an injury or two.
Yeah, everybody has an injury or two. I got a couple of them. It's all right. But I want to talk about the Rumble match itself. First of all, if The Miz could be number one and The Miz competed in the tag team match, why didn't every other wrestler that competed earlier in the night compete in the Rumble? Why didn't we see the Usos? You know what I mean?
Well, because it would leave, you know, some spots that, you know, were useless. You know, especially the guys that went in, like a Titus O'Neil, that would have been useless to anyone else.
Dude, how did Curtis Axel get robbed?
You missed that.
Curtis Axel got robbed, yo.
Curtis Axel is the true 2015 Royal Rumble winner.
I tell you what, it was good seeing Bubba Ray Dudley. It was cool seeing the Boogeyman. But the Daniel Bryan elimination was heartbreaking.
No, we'll elaborate on that in a minute, but I knew the moment when he was eliminated, I was like, oh, the internet is about to explode.
Well, it's like what I said. We were joking around. I'm like, yo, we all know Roman's winning. Nah. Roman's not going to win. I'm like, yo, Roman is going to win. He's the dude. He is the guy.
It's funny because I was in a Royal Rumble contest, and I had 30, and I said, if I have Ziggler at 30, I have a chance. And then I said, no, wait, I forget. Roman is winning.
Yep. Ziggler was 30, and it's like the match. You know what annoyed me? And this is where I kind of go into that. How Kane and the Big Show were just haphazardly just tossing cats out. It's like, yo, since when? Like, dude, like ragdolling dudes. Like Dolph Ziggler getting caught with the ultimate knockout punch. That guy sold it. He got shot in the face.
It's like a sniper mode in Call of Duty. Shot in the head.
It was crazy. It's like, yo, it's like Dolph Ziggler needed a kill cam. Let's show you how you died.
You know what's cool though, because at least we were proponents for it early on. Is like, okay, Bryan gets eliminated early, fine, dandy, all right. And for some weird way, I'm happy that it occurred because the guy comes back, and I know he's not 100%. He's still nursing his injuries, and this will I said that sometimes the internet community could be a little bit tasty.
Right.
Like you've mentioned before in months back. If you're going to bring him back, don't bring him back to get hurt.
Right.
So, let it progress little by little. But then they booked a casket match for SmackDown.
Exactly.
Glee.
Well, here's the thing I was expecting. Dude, I said to myself, yo, I'd give anything if Seth Rollins ran out at like 29. I was like, please, God. Yo, I would have been done. Seth Rollins, Reigns, Ambrose, Kane, and the Big Show as the last ones left. Oh, the crowd would have gone bananas because it's like, what if the Authority conspired to have Rollins win the Rumble?
Well, and you know what? That would have actually possibly made the fans possibly back Roman a little easier.
Yep.
Because the little subtle things that they did. Because I even noticed that they had the whole team up with the old mates Dean and Roman lock heads to say we're going to war, and I was like, the crowd doesn't give a shit.
Yep. It's like yo, it's too late for that. Roman Reigns is all bleeding and shit. Dean Ambrose like, we're gonna kill everybody, and it's just like the crowd the crowd goes mild.
The crowd goes mild and like, dude, you're gonna get thrown out. We know this already.
Yep. And you know what it was? The best part, and we all laughed, dude, how Rusev just snuck back and he's like, like a bad guy out of a horror movie. Like he just, like when you're in a fun house and he just comes out of the closet, Rusev ham sandwich.
But didn't they ring the bell after he tossed them both?
Nah, dude, and that's what we were saying. Like, yo, why didn't they ring the bell? And then we were like, yo, we were like, yo, people hate Roman Reigns so much they don't even want to ring the bell to let people know it's over.
Everything is just ass backwards. They're sitting there chanting for Rusev. It's like, what the hell?
I'm like, yo, why are they chanting for Rusev? And I'm like, oh shit, he didn't get eliminated. I'm like, and then you kind of thought to yourself, are they gonna give it to Rusev? And I'm like, Rusev and Brock Lesnar? I'm like, that would involve a Brock Lesnar face turn.
Right, and then I'm sitting here, I'm going, no, there's epic storytelling that's going on. Because don't you see Big Show and Kane are upset with each other now?
Yep.
Now there might be some dissension in there. The crowd was like, boo, fuck this shit.
Yo, the crowd punched out, dude. They're like, yo, ejector scene, I'm done. Like, yo, the crowd was like, yo, that's a wrap. Fuck it.
They were like, yeah, but when The Rock came out, they cheered. I said, yeah, they cheered for The Rock. And then they realized why he's coming out, and they was like, no!
Dude, you know what's funny? I got a text when The Rock came out, and everybody's like, yo, is The Rock the real number 30? Like, yo, is The Rock going to throw Roman Reigns out, and it's going to be Rock and Brock at Mania? I was like, yo, the crowd would go fucking bananas. Like, he's holding Roman Reigns' arm up, everybody's cheering, and we're all like, wait a minute, but the belt's still in the ring. And then as Roman turns around, The Rock just gets in a position, hits him with the rock bottom, and throws him out.
That would have been epically creative. I think I would have even marked out for that.
Dude, I was like, we were all joking around, like, yo, imagine if The Rock was number 30 for real. Oh, dude, it would have been insane. I think that building would have erupted, dude. Everybody's like Roman Reigns, they booing him. The Rock's music hits, they come down, and then you hear JBL like, wait a minute. There's only been 29 guys. Just they're all like, wait a minute. Who's number 30? And then they go, but Curtis Axel never entered. And then they're like, that means there were only 29, and The Rock is just number 30. Oh, dude, it would have been insane.
Yeah, that would have been freaking epic. That at least we wouldn't have much to talk about tonight when it came to that.
Oh, dude, I would have lost my shit, dude. I probably literally would have fucking pissed myself like a toddler. Because, dude, that's some out of this world booking, dude. But at least at that point, you'd be like, oh shit.
But we have what we had, and the explanations that I had to speak to and tell people about why the internet almost killed WWE.
Well, Monday Night Raw, of course, was derailed because of Snowmageddon, the Snowpocalypse, Snow MG, countless hashtags. But we ended up getting a show that actually was moderately tolerable. And people were like, yo, man, they're giving the match from the Royal Rumble. And it's like, yeah, because it's a great way to sell the network. Duh. Like, people are like, why are they giving the match that we saw yesterday? And I'm like, because you're selling the network? Because you guys missed this match and the only reason you're getting it now is because of a fucking snowstorm? You're welcome?
I thought that was beautiful business by WWE.
Exactly.
Because I sat there and I was sitting there, I was going, I don't really want to watch this again, but I could not change the channel.
Exactly.
Like, I really had to watch it again.
Yep, I ended up watching that triple threat match again, and then I kind of tuned out when they replayed the Rumble, but still, you're just like, oh shit, And then when they showed Rollins come in just being super douchebag, and he's like, yeah, Michael, that's called a Phoenix Splash. I'm just like, yo, Seth Rollins is a full-on dick right now. They're like, oh yeah, Brock Lesnar's coming in here. He's like, oh yeah, well, if Brock Lesnar wants this chair, he's gonna have to take it from me. And I'm like, dude, you realize what's gonna happen in about 5 minutes? You realize this, right? And it was just so juvenile that he just like slapped the chair out of the way. And then I was laughing because some assistant.
He's like, fuck your chair, nigga.
Well, I was laughing because the assistant, the assistant just walks and he gently puts the chair back.
Here's your chair, Mr. Lesnar.
That's it. I was just like, yo, too funny. And then, Paul Heyman, again, God tier. He's just like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. This is how it goes down. You guys can say whatever you want, but my client, is my client. And he's like, I think we're going to stick around. And I like that they gave Brock Lesnar more personality. He's like, yo, let's meet this guy. I want to meet this guy. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, you see him in the back, like they used to show in the old SmackDown vignettes with him lifting the pieces of the scenery over his head. He's slamming down craft services. It's like, oh, so that's the real Brock Lesnar. Oh.
Well, what's funny? I liked what they first of all, I like Dean Ambrose just showing up out of nowhere, just random. Just like, yo, it's snowing. I was bored. I walked here. Any place with pictures of me that I could look at. I like shit like that. But I also liked that when Reigns, even though there's, Reigns allegedly had his lines fed to him and people allegedly heard it, I do want to acknowledge the fact that Paul Heyman taking over that interview was the greatest thing they ever did. Because Paul Heyman dug into the fucking history books, dude. Like, hardcore. Like, hey, man, I remember your dad, your cousin, blah, 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 blah. I remember taking pictures of this guy. I was like, wow, this is some hardcore history right here.
And this is why I say, like, when it comes to Heyman, you don't even have to, like, really say a word, and he'll make you look as though, like, you're the next coming of God. Like, he'll do everything he's like the Michelangelo of wrestling now. It's in that short moment, Roman didn't have to say a word, and everybody was like, "Oh, this might be some shit going down."
Well, you know what I liked? I like that Heyman always he has a mantra that I believe in when it comes to professional wrestling and capitalizing. He always says, emphasize the strengths, hide the weaknesses. And what he did in that moment is emphasize the strengths. He realized, yo, you got two physical guys, their mic work is shit, but if you let them be natural enough that it looks believable, I can sell this. And that's what happened.
And let the picture tell the story.
Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong. If Roman got the lines fed to him, fuck it. Whatever. We know his promos are shit. The Rock could not even save him. And that's the problem. The WWE wants Roman Reigns to be the next Rock. Can't happen. Once in a lifetime thing, dude. One guy. It's like, stop trying to force these guys to be other guys, because it's not going to happen.
I don't even think. I think what the WWE is doing right now is just they had a look and they're like, listen, all the avenues that we had that we could have had to lead to WrestleMania and who to go up against Brock, we don't really have anything. So let's just throw this guy up there who's only had one belt in his whole career, who has lineage of a legacy behind him. Maybe we can hitch a wagon to this. The fans aren't buying it. They don't want to be force-fed their champions and their fan favorites. They're not buying it.
You know what's going to take it's going to take, and this is crazy, it's going to take Heyman to not only book this, but write this to make it work.
I figured, like, Roman Reigns is going to disappear for some time, and he's going to come back, like, super jacked. That's what I'm looking at.
Well, you know what it is?
I think at the end of that picture, Brock looked monstrous next to him.
Well, I think that's what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. They're going to probably do like they did with The Rock and Brock, you know, the training montages and Roman Reigns trying to get ready for the fight of his life. And who knows? We may see some development. We may see some changes. But I do feel that, you know, you're going to get the result you're going to get, and you're going to get the WrestleMania moment. But The Rock's footprint is going to be on it.
I guarantee at WrestleMania, I'm saying it now, I guarantee he's not coming out in flap jacket, vest, and pants. He's going back to trunks.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm calling it now.
I wouldn't be shocked.
But I don't think I honestly don't believe that he's walking out of WrestleMania with a belt. I don't think so. I don't think it's happening. I smell swerve, and I smell a big swerve happening. I don't see it happening.
Well, I got a swerve that Jim Ross kind of alluded to, which I shared on the fan page, and that is, what if Heyman swerves Lesnar, aligns with Reigns, Reigns is his new client, Lesnar leaves to go to the UFC, and there you go.
You really think that Heyman could actually salvage this? I mean, like Heyman is God, of course.
Heyman is the only guy that can salvage it.
His last couple of acquisitions haven't been, top notch.
His last couple of acquisitions were based on creative saying, "Hey, hitch your wagon to this guy and let's hope for the best." You got to remember, you're giving him what's essentially the future of this business.
Yeah, and I don't know. That could be tough, man. That could be a tough thing to bank on right there. It's not impossible, but it'd be tough to see it.
At the end of the day, Lesnar's gonna put over Roman Reigns. It's just a matter of putting him over effectively. Now, if Heyman turned on Lesnar, that would put over Reigns effectively, because that promo the following Monday from Heyman would be out of this world.
I still see that we haven't seen such a large event happen at WrestleMania where everybody, like, besides, Undertaker Street on the last one, but like something when it had to deal with the championship. For some reason, although I hate when they do it on Raw, I think Seth is going to cash in that night. For some reason, I really believe he'll cash in that night. I believe that Brock and Reigns is going to have like some epic match, and they're going to be so winded and so out of it that Seth will cash in at that night.
Oh, dude, I'd love if the confetti was rolling from the sky and we were getting ready to pad out, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, it's Seth Rollins, and he just cashes in, curb stops fucking Roman Reigns, cashes it in. They pin him and the Authority wins, because it's been a long time since we've had a WrestleMania where the heels actually win.
And that's what I'm saying, and I really would think that if he does cash in that way, the crowd won't be mad. I really don't think they'll be upset about that.
I think the crowd will be hyped, dude.
No. And by the way, did you see, just to go back on Rumble, how strong they made Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, but you know why I didn't really go too deep into that, and the reason I'll tell you that is because they've been teasing Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker for the longest. And the only way that you're going to make that work is by making Bray Wyatt look good.
I know the story could be, the storytelling will be epic.
Yep.
But, my whole thing with The Undertaker is like, when will it end? Like, I mean, can't they let this guy retire in peace?
You know when it might end for The Undertaker? Next year.
You
want to know why? Cowboy Stadium, dude. The allure is too big for him not to want to be involved.
Yeah, that's true. And they're definitely gonna break their record in there.
Yeah, and besides the fact The Undertaker's from Texas, he lives there, he could walk there probably. He's probably
he can still walk.
Exactly. He's probably like, yo, I'll ride my Segway there, and I'll do this match, and that's it. Like, I bet you he'll go in the Hall of Fame next year, and he'll close it out.
Yeah, that'll be probably the best way to go. And if he does, let's not blacken the hair anymore. Let's go on with the white. Let's go with the white.
Have him go in there
look like Mordecai.
Have him go in there looking like Doc from Back to the Future. Marty, it's your kids, Marty. It's your kids. Fucking Undertaker gets out of a DeLorean.
Remember when Undertaker was supposed to have that angle with Mordecai? He's like, oh, that's what it really was. Oh, I get it now.
Dude, hilarious. Just Undertaker in a DeLorean. It's your kids, Marty. It's your kids. And then you hand him a Snickers. And he becomes the Undertaker. It's just a top product placement. No, but in all seriousness, it's like the allure is too great, dude. Like, Cowboy Stadium has to be it.
Yeah, that seems like the way. I'm saying that's going to be that one is going to be the one that you might see everybody, because Texas is like such a big wrestling state. Like,
yep.
That's when they're going to pull everything out.
Dude, I think that's when
you think Philly was disrespectful. Texas might be horrible.
But I tell you this though, I think Stone Cold might lace some of them boots next year. That's why I could tell you that shit.
Oh man, don't get me excited about hearing that shit.
Come on, dude. Again,
that might even get me on a plane to go out there.
But again, dude, the call as a wrestler, and because we talk about the indies and all that. It's like the allure is too great to not want to be there, to not want to be a part of history.
I'm gonna tell you, I get excited like when you see like the POVs. When the wrestler's standing on the Titantron stage,
yep.
And they're looking out to the ring and all the crowd, I get excited like if I'm there, like if it's me. So I can imagine like I can't even fathom what their mindset is going to when they see that.
Dude, imagine just Cowboy Stadium like for a Bray Wyatt entrance with everybody holding up their phones.
I think the return of the gondola from WrestleMania 3 is going to come back. Because that walkway is going to be humongous.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, dude. It's like a lot of these guys are like, whatever. It's like, listen, Cowboy Stadium, big fucking deal. Yeah. It's like when you got a guy like Goldberg saying, I might do one more match. It's like, because that is the pinnacle.
to be at that in that building, knowing that there's going to be over 100 and possibly 110,000 fans, oh, that's sick.
That's the toughest part. And the other thing is, it's like I said, there's so many guys that are kind of hinting that they want to come back. Like I said, Austin's like, I got one more match. Goldberg's like, I got one more match. Undertaker's like, fuck, I'll crawl there for that match.
I smell gimmick battle royal. Like,
oh my God!
Return of the gimmick battle royal.
You never know, dude. But these are the things we gotta look forward to. Speaking of which, I want to go through the other wrestling news because we could be nostalgic this entire time. Tough Enough is coming back on USA, and it's gonna start using an American Idol format where people can actually do live voting on who gets eliminated.
Oh, now you talking about internet wrestling community being creeps and dickheads. This is where it's really gonna shine. But just like the WWE polls and all that shit's gonna be fucking skewed and fucking tampered with anyway. They're gonna find a way to fucking put over who they want to put over anyway. So
yeah,
I like that idea though. I'm glad that Tough Enough will come back. I love that show.
Well, I'm glad it's coming back, and I like the interaction because, dude, they're gonna squeeze the shit out of the WWE app. Like, you're going to be voting with the app.
Oh yeah. Let's update the interface because we already know it's going to crash a couple of times a week.
There you go. I did want to ask you where you stand with Justin Gabriel asking for his release.
I understand where he's coming from with it. He already knew where he was going to go and what their plans were. And to be honest, a lot of guys who have the talent like he has and all that, they're actually becoming more successful in the Indies and Japan. He's already made a booking at PWS. More power to him. Everybody thinks that he'll go to TNA or he'll go to Ring of Honor. I mean, these guys are having fun. He's like, if you ever seen him on his Instagram, he's a free spirit. He skydives. He does a lot of like extreme stuff. So him having the balls to say, you know what, guys, I might as well just go and just live my life the way I want. I commend him for that. Not a lot of guys could do that.
So what you're saying is YOLO.
YOLO. Yeah, pretty much.
There you go.
And it's good because it's still, there's a lot of guys who've done it in the past and opened doors for them later on if they wanted to return.
Yep.
There's still that option there.
Well, I'll tell you this, dude.
And at least they didn't hold his, they didn't hold his arm by not giving, to give him that clause. They let him give him a free to compete clause, so which is good.
Well, I'll tell you this, dude. Lucha Underground, John Morrison and Justin Gabriel in a tag team match.
Oh, yeah, book it.
Exactly. I'd pay to see that. But I will say that I'm very, very interested in seeing that Steve Austin podcast with Triple H as his next guest.
Yeah, I'm chewing at the bit for that one because if he was able to say what he wanted, what he said to Vince, I'd definitely have to hear. I hope he really gets at the nitty gritty with Triple H. I really hope he gets, So what do you think about your father-in-law, really?
Yep. Well, I also
really
think
want to get those aspects.
Well, I think also he's going to put the squeeze on him because Triple H is still one of the boys,
Yeah, and it's a lot of stuff will be there, tongue in cheek, a little wrestling business here, a little reality there, but that's gonna be. I think it's gonna be far more interesting than the Vince interview.
So we were talking about Titus O'Neil earlier. Do you know that Titus O'Neil's Royal Rumble exit was botched? And that Titus O'Neil was supposed to be eliminated in 1 second to Ty Santino's elimination. And that they botched it. And Vince was furious.
Out of all things he was furious about, that's what he was furious.
Yep.
That's what all things.
They say that the timing issues between O'Neil, Ambrose, and Reigns meant that he was instead eliminated in 4 seconds. Instead of 1.
Wow. Well, like the mistake they made last year for not having Roman win last year. Yeah, we could try again with Titus next year.
There you go. So get this: the Authority has their own Twitter account, and they announced that at WWE Fastlane, Cena is going to be facing Rusev.
Yeah.
And there goes that first loss, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, we pretty much knew that was coming down anyway. I just didn't think it was gonna happen, that fast. For a pun, but yeah, I didn't think it was happening. I thought at least they would at least let it up to at least Mania.
That's what I'm saying. That would have been the bigger moment, beating the Russian monster. Yeah. Unless the match ends in shenanigans and we still get the match at Mania, which could happen.
Does this mean that we may see John Cena wear the United States belt one more time?
We might see that.
Oh, the return of the spinner belt.
Nah, that's not gonna happen. I think he's outgrown that. He's too John Cena. John Cena is like he's the guy that's in his late 30s that still kind of wears his pants off his ass, but tries not to because he realizes that they'll look at him funny.
No, Cena wears the sweatpants with the one leg up.
Yep, he's the elder statesman. He's that guy. Like when you go in some place and you're like, yo, I should go in there and buy that shirt. And, your friends look at you like, yo, you can't go in there. You're not allowed to Jimmy Jazz anymore.
Yeah. Hyperactive.
Chill.
Hyperactive? What's wrong with you, man? Yeah.
Dr. J's? Nah, man, you better chill. You better go buy them C9 sweatpants in Target and stop playing.
Go put on your Dockers, Cena. Stop playing.
But, yeah, it should be. It's going to be interesting. I have a feeling that match is going to end just terribly, and then we're going to get the match at Mania, and that'll be it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that, like I said, we pretty much knew that was going that way, but it's just like, who cares? It doesn't have like that same flair like years ago when it was like Hulk versus Iron Sheik,
right?
Or Hulk versus Sergeant Slaughter. Like that's what they're trying to rekindle, but whatever.
Our friends at TNA are going back to Universal Studios Orlando to tape TV tapings in February, March, and April. Is it terrible to say that TNA's gotten better since being on Destination America?
Let me tell you, I like the way that it's filmed. I kid you not. You can tell that they cut costs, but like it seems more friendlier. Like it just says, you know what, we're not WWE. Fuck it, let's just do it this way. It's more guerrilla, almost guerrilla style. Like I like it. But
I like MVP stable.
Orlando,
you don't like it?
No, I do like it. I really do. I do like it. Like I said, it's better that way. But to go to Orlando, it's like, I don't know. I think you lose the fans like that. You just tell that they're not packing the house. Going
back to the seat of the crime, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
They should have just kept the shows at the Hammerstein, dude. They would have been all right.
Even if it wasn't in the Hammerstein, you could test the market on the East Coast. Like it's like no longer WWE territory since they're all over the place. The East Coast brings you your fan base.
That's true.
Even like even in the West Coast, like where Pro Wrestling Guerrillas out there, they got a fucking huge fan base out there. Like, Go out there. You go to Orlando and it's like Florida's like, ugh. It's not the 70s. The 70s, that's where it used to be a wrestling freaking state. It's not like that anymore.
It's like, yo, you're down there competing against You're down there competing against NXT.
Exactly. Now you're going out there, and it's like people who couldn't get on the Spider-Man the movie ride. Hey, look, we got TNA tickets. Oh, let's go in there.
So, I was checking out the Wrestling Observer, and they said that WWE might be dropping its numbering system for WrestleMania. If you notice, the new WrestleMania logo has like a play button, and the 32 logo has a blue star. So there's no numbers there.
Oh, yeah, because we want to trick the fans not to think that we're old.
Pretty much.
Yeah, listen, guys, come on. It's work for the Super Bowl. Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. They really don't.
Listen, this is once again one of those things that Vince's idea of like trying to keep trying to stay with the times. It's like No one cares, dude. Just push out the product, and we know what it is anyway. It's not
Pretty
like
much.
you're tricking us.
Absolutely. I will say this. And this was very interesting. I read an interview that Alberto Del Rio did about why he signed with Lucha Underground, and he was saying, that they took good care of him, and AAA took good care of him, and he said that TNA offered him a good deal, but he had to do the right thing by the business. And people were saying that Alberto Del Rio pretty much reinforced that nobody wants to go to TNA because they feel that that's where you go when your career is gonna die.
Well, I don't really think they probably had the money.
Well, he said TNA offered him some decent bread.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that. Which is funny because if they were Lucha Underground, the Young Bucks said the offer that they made them was insulting. So it is weird to see what to know what Alberto El Patron got.
I'll tell you why their offer wasn't that good, because the Young Bucks are white. Sounds fucked up, but think about it. Think about that.
Yeah, that seems feasible right there.
Why couldn't it be feasible?
Yeah, that sounds like it's about right.
Because it's like, Alberto Del Rio, let's be realistic. Yeah, he's a former WWE champion, but is he really packing the house like that? I guess we're gonna find out, right?
Even in I see him in everybody say, oh, he's signed to Ring of Honor, or who cares? No one cares.
But that's what I'm saying.
I mean, he's not a bad worker. He's just like, it doesn't matter.
I don't know, dude. Ever since he's been outside of WWE, he's been showing us a lot more. And I think that being in Lucha Underground, it's a natural fit for him,
Well, I guess it's because the look that we would have wanted should have been in WWE, but he's able to do it here.
Right.
Because at least it's tickling that whole, maybe some illegal faction thing going on. But I don't know. To me, he just still comes off a bit bland. I don't know.
Well, he was also saying that WWE talents are making like $500 a night, and that he's making almost 90% of what he made working the independents than what he made in WWE, which is crazy.
Which I understand, because WWE backs a lot of stuff, so they take a lot of their money back, which I said about the whole Justin Gabriel thing. He's gonna be able to make recoup some money outside of the whole WWE thing. So these guys have pretty much an idea of what they're doing when it comes to finance.
I did want to close out with an interesting bit of insight from remember Mark Madden from WCW?
Whoa, that's a name we haven't heard for a long time.
He was on the Jim Ross podcast. He said that that the WWE, he feels that the WWE doesn't believe in Daniel Bryan.
I don't believe that though. I honestly believe that somehow, some way, WWE is going to honor the fans and give them what they want. They'll do it again.
Well, he also said that the WWE doesn't want to invest more money into Brock Lesnar because they don't feel they're getting enough of a return on their investment. Because Brock Lesnar wants to continue being paid the same per date. And it's just like, all right, we're going to pay you per date, then, we're going to use you a lot. And I don't think Brock Lesnar wants to fucking play that.
Yeah, but this is nothing new to WWE when it comes to Brock. Brock has been like that since he even got into the business.
Yep, Brock has always been about time and time again. He's like, yo, this is my time, and that's it.
Yeah, there's nothing new.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's gonna put over Roman Reigns strong. He's gonna head back to either the UFC or Bellator. Hang out over there for a couple of years, and then come back to the WWE and be an attraction like the Undertaker.
Yeah, like Andre. When Andre used to come back in town, come around for a couple of months and then leave again.
Well, other than that, the only other thing I did want to add is that Jeff Jarrett and Global Force Wrestling can negotiate with Spike TV if they wanted to. Very interesting.
Wow. I'm actually excited about that, man. I think he has a good shot of possibly, giving a good run to the other promotions with the Global Force. I'm excited to see what he does with that.
Have you been watching the New Japan on Access?
Yes, I have. And it's a wake up call to people who don't know what overseas wrestling looks like when out there, like what they do to compete.
Yep.
It's a sight to see, man. You just hope that one day it comes across to the United States and guys are able to like back it up.
Yeah, you gotta. I think next week they're gonna give one of Prince Devitt's matches.
Oh, yeah, it's good to see that. I've caught up to a lot of his stuff through YouTube, but now to see it like this is actually be pretty awesome.
There you go. All right, so with that, we're actually wrapping up wrestling. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Guys, don't give up on us. Don't give up on wrestling. Like they always find a way. It's like, listen, I was upset when the whole twin referees occurred with Andre and Hulk Hogan. So, and I never lost faith. So, other than that, Rageworks, My Take Radio, we're here.
There you go. Thanks a lot, brother. I appreciate you calling in.
All right, guys.
Peace.
Peace.
There you go, our very own Jay Santy. You can find him on Twitter at JSantyMTR, and of course on our Facebook fan page as well. All right, I think I've muted the mic enough, and I think my sinus medication is starting to wear off, so let's wrap it up. You've just heard My Take Radio episode 269, which aired live Wednesday, January 28th, 2015. My Take Radio will be back on air Thursday, January 29th at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific for gaming and entertainment. You can follow us on Twitter at My Take Radio, become a fan on Facebook, add us to your circle on Google+, and you can also check out our galleries on Pinterest, and you can follow me on Instagram, RageWorks_Rich. As always, you can find archived episodes of the show on iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio. But if you want the best MTR experience, get the official My Take Radio app available for Android, iOS, and Windows mobile devices. For Android, you can find it in the Amazon Marketplace. For Windows, of course, you can go to the Windows Store, and for iOS, on iTunes. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys later. Peace.
I'm rich, biatch.
That's all, folks.